Sunday. It is January the 29th. It is 1:53 p.m. in the afternoon. And on this Sunday, I wanted to do another episode where I talked about an experience, shared an experience with you, and at the same time, shared the things that I did to do this experience. And, hopefully, perhaps you'll hear something that could help you in your own experiences. But let me get into this experience. And so the one thing I think I really want to emphasize in this particular experience is perseverance. And I think that is, well, that's a theme of this experience. So this happened yesterday. And by the way, I normally do share these experiences right after they happened, but I thought that it would be a good idea for this particular experience, which was a brief experience, but I thought it might be a good idea for me to share it this Sunday because, again, it involved something that I think might be helpful to those of you who might be struggling with, I guess this would be reality shifting, beyond body / shifting. So yesterday at around 4 p.m., I kind of made the decision that I was going to go beyond body, have a shift. So I decided I was going to lay down and I was going to do it. So I decided I wanted to go on this experience to an amusement park. Now, I went to a version, I think, of Disneyland once, and it wasn't a pleasant experience because the beings that were standing in line, I believe, were either puppet-like or animatronic. When I think back to it, they may have been more like animatronic beings, like the kind of animatronics they have in Disneyland, and they were living beings. So that was really weird and freaked me out. But I was thinking in my mind, I just want to go to an amusement park. I wasn't specific on the kind of amusement park I wanted to go to, just an amusement park. So that's what I focused on. And so I laid there. On my right side, I had on storm sounds for those of you who are interested. And I fell asleep. It did. I fell asleep. I don't know how many times have I had a nickel for the amount of times I see people frustrated because they fell asleep and complaining and saying, well, I don't understand why I'm falling asleep. Coming from someone who's been astral projecting since the age of 9, I'm going to tell you that it happens. I'm going to continue to repeat this because I want people to know that it's okay to fall asleep. It happens. It happens to the best of us. I fell asleep and I woke up at like 6 o'clock or close to 6 o'clock before my alarm was going to go off because I set my alarm for 6 p.m. So I laid there and I was like, again, I get frustrated just like everybody else does, especially if I'm planning on going on an adventure. This wasn't something that just happened. Like, there were a lot of experiences for me where I just kind of lay down and I relax and it happens. But when I focus on an experience and I want to have an experience, I want it to happen just like anybody else. And I fell asleep. But like I say, I laid there. I was thinking about it and I'm like, you know what? No, I am not going to give up today. I'm not going to give up on this. I'm going to continue to attempt to do this experience. Now, I thought about what I had done before. And again, guys, if you're struggling, I want you to listen. All right. So one of the things I did before when I fell asleep was I was really, really focused on my visualization, which is to push through space. For those of you may not have heard this, one of the things that I do is I imagine my hands pushing through space into another reality. That's how I imagine it. That's how I see it. So I see it in that way. So I was really focused on the visualization part, really focused on, okay, I got to do this. I'm going to do this. And it was too much. Okay. It was too much. And that's what I was thinking about as I was lying down. I was like, I was really, really focused on this. This time, I'm just going to relax. It's in the back of my mind. I've already made the decision that I want to go to an amusement park. In fact, I'm thinking to myself, all right, at some point I'm going to reach that middle space. If I lay here and relax long enough, I just need to catch it. It's like catching a wave. I think if you're surfing, you have to catch the wave. You have to catch it as it comes. Once I catch it, then I can focus on where I want to go. Or for those of you who are shifters out there, what your desired reality is, where you're focused on going. When that wave comes up, you catch it. You're going on it. You're riding on that wave. Okay. So I laid there and I was like, okay, storm sound's still on. I moved to my left side. Now, again, there are people who are so focused on like, how are you laying down, all these detailed. I always lay down on the side that I feel most comfortable. And then most of the time it's my right side. This time I was like, okay, I'm going to, lay down on my left side. I'm just going to relax. So I was on my left side. I had my eyes shut. Storm sounds going on in the background. And just lying there, just relaxed. Again, not really, really, really focused on visualization or anything else. But I do have an understanding in the back of my mind that this is what I want to do. So I'm lying there, and at some point, it comes. That middle space comes, right? So I was patient, and it actually happened. So I felt myself tip over the bed. Now, for those of you who haven't listened to previous videos of mine, you might want to listen to some of the previous videos. The way that I move into a different reality is probably kind of unique as to compared to what you may have heard. First of all, I feel my entire body is in motion. Secondly, I will feel myself turning either left, right, up, down, whatever. Sometimes I just come off my bed and I feel like, okay, I'm going to fall on the floor. And this was something that this was always something that I was paranoid about. I was like, okay, gosh, what if my physical body is going onto the floor? That's going to hurt if I hit the ground. So, that may have been something I was thinking about because I hadn't gone off the bed for a while. It had been a while, but I tipped off the bed. I went to the floor. It wasn't harsh. I didn't hit the floor hard. I just kind of landed softly, and I was like, okay. So I laid there, and I was like, all right, waiting to move, and I didn't move. I was like, gosh, I wonder if I actually did come off the bed. It didn't hurt, but so I waited there for a while. Nothing happened, guys. Nothing happened. And then I opened my eyes and, I was on the floor and I got up and I looked around and I'm like, oh, gosh, I'm still in my apartment. I'm looking around. Everything pretty much looks the same. There's the bookshelf that's right directly in front of me, a little bit of a distance from my bed, my computer, my microphone that I'm speaking to you now on at this point, my desk, everything looked pretty much the same. And I was again frustrated. I'm like, I didn't go anywhere. I felt like I went somewhere, but I did not go anywhere. Everything looked pretty much the same. Then I started walking toward my door and I got a surprise. Instead of my kitchen being on the right side, it was on the left side. And there, I could not see a refrigerator. I saw a few items. I saw a bottle of wine, which wasn't unusual because there is a bottle of wine in this version of my apartment, but it was on the left side. It was sitting on some sort of, I don't know what it was, like a tiny table or something. So I opened the door, and as I was walking out, to my surprise, a woman came up from behind me, from inside of my apartment, guys, not outside. I want to make sure I emphasize this. From inside of my apartment, I did not see anyone when I was there, but this woman walked right by me, And so I looked at her and I said, as she was walking in, by the way, she had deep red lipstick on her. I remember that she was very much made up. She had dark hair, she was short, and I just remember the way her makeup was. She had a lot of makeup on. So I looked at her and I said, excuse me, but do I know you? And she said, well, you should, because you guys keep me in the basement. And I was like, excuse me? I was like, we keep you in the basement. No, when she referred to it as like you guys or you referring to more than just myself. Keep her in the basement. And I was like, what do you mean we keep you on the base? This is what I was thinking in my mind. But I saw the lady's look, the look on her face. She looked sort of frustrated and kind of angry and upset. I don't think we were holding her in the basement against her will. She may have lived in the basement. She may have worked in the basement. I don't know. I'm in another reality. I have no idea what this all means. But once she said that, I said, I'm sorry. I said, I'm so sorry because I don't, I live in this reality. And if the other, me that's in that reality doesn't treat her well, that's not good. So as she was walking, I was sort of walking with her and I said, oh, by the way, and I whispered to her, I said, I'm from another reality. Now, I don't know if I should have done this or not, but she kind of looked at me. She gave me a look like, I mean, what look would you give someone if they told you that they were from another reality? I guess it would really depend. I noticed a stack of pamphlets in the hallway, right? So we were in the hallway and we were walking, and this was a hallway that was similar to my hallway in this reality, except it was wider. It seemed wider to me, and it had more space, but I did notice that there were a stack of pamphlets in a corner. So I saw the pamphlets, and I motioned for her to look at the pamphlets. Then I focused my attention on it, then pointed my finger toward it, and I was able to move the pamphlets telekinetically with the power of my mind. Now, don't ask me how I knew I could do this. This is something that has cropped up before, I think, in an experience that I've had. For those of you who are wondering if you have abilities and powers, it's very possible. I know that I was able to move those pamphlets, and when the woman saw it, she kind of gave me this look like, oh my God. So again, I didn't know if I was supposed to do this or not, but I did it. And, in a sense, I guess I was trying to tell her, look, I'm not the person who you think I am. I'm just trying to tell you I'm from another reality and, I'm, whatever. But I moved on from her after this, after she had this look on her face. And I kept moving. I was looking around, and this was just a plain hallway. And I guess I was thinking to myself, I wonder where I go out. And again, I was thinking about the amusement park because, by the way, something I didn't mention is that as I was, going over my bed, I was focused on the amusement park. I was focused on getting to an amusement park. So that was my goal. So as I'm walking, I noticed this older lady, and I think what I believe was her daughter. They looked so alike. It was not even funny. If they had been the same age, they could be twins. It was really interesting. I think they had blondish hair. They looked just kind of, I don't know. There was nothing distinct about their look, to be completely honest with you. But I just noticed one was older, one was younger. And so I went up to the lady, and I said, excuse me, is there an amusement park near here? Because, I was looking for it. And she said, well, I think I believe there's an amusement park somewhere near here. And then for some reason, again, I was wondering because I was like, I wonder, I looked at her and I said, is there even an outside? Is there an outside like with stars? Now, I remember I said that. I said an outside with stars, like the sky, outside in stars in the sky. And she paused, and then she said a word that I do not, to this moment, I don't know what this word means. If any of you know what this word means, if you could leave it in the comments to let me know what this word means, I would appreciate it. I have no idea what this word means. She said, well, we have Eucropia stars. I was like, Eucropia? Like as in Eucropian stars or Eucropia stars. Now, she may not have said stars in that. I believe she did, but she did say Eucropia. If anyone, again, knows what that word is, I Googled it and I don't know. It doesn't show up. It doesn't show up. The only word that even comes close to that is, I believe it's pronounced acronia, which refers to a hypothetical or fictional time period of our world, an alternate history. That's the only thing I could see that even came a little close to the word Eucropia. You know, there's also the word utopia, which I guess could be something as well. So after I spoke to this woman and she told me about Eucropia, wherever that is or whatever that is, the experience ended, guys. It ended not soon. Soon after that, it ended, and I was back. And it was a short experience. And again, you know, I know, guys, sometimes I'm sure it's not satisfying for you guys to hear this stuff because, you know, it's not coming to a satisfying ending, but that's what happened. That's when it ended. And I returned. Anyway, please always remember, hang in there, be determined, be patient. Thank you so much for coming on this journey with me. And until next time, take care.